So Carmen, how are you?
Fine, fine.
How is your office?
Yeah, we have learned a lot of things with this period, with this experience. The office is going to change. Also, my relation with the people is going to change. I discovered that it's possible to work in distance, not all the time, but more. And maybe I'm going to stay in my island in Mallorca more and work a little in distance, and we will see. We will see. But I discovered one thing, because each morning we make a meeting with all the people of the studio with the screen, and one thing that it give the screen at everybody is equal in the same. There are no one that want to talk more and cover the other, no? And when one talk, the other listen, no? And everybody see everybody. In a way, is more democratic than our discussions. But it's so important, the personal relation, no?
Yeah, the human interaction.
Yeah, because in coffee time we discover a lot of things. We share more things than the projects, and this is so important for the creative process, no? But
I think the management of the projects, it's maybe possible to have more distance, but for the creative process, it's quite difficult to get the maximum out of a team kind of on a distance, because everybody has its own interpretations, and kind of, which is in a way good because you get many different ideas, but to bring it together in a project is quite complex, I think.
Absolutely, I agree. The first, we can work in the distance when we focus in one thing. And then the discussion between the people that take care of this problem and me is easy with the computer. But to create, to change, to change opinions, and the contact, the personal contact is so important.
Yeah.
But we can make both, I think. And
a better balance.
For sure, we must stop to because my theory is today we have the coronavirus, but tomorrow, tomorrow means tomorrow, we have the change of the climate. And with this kind of life that everybody had, taking the plane, with the contamination, the change of the climate is here. And this also is a danger that is for everybody. It's global, because we don't have. One thing that the coronavirus have demonstrated us is we don't have the control of the nature. And having a very strong lesson for everybody this time.
Sure. And do you therefore think that that discussion about climate and about global events really changes, or do you think the urgency changes, but not maybe the conversation? Do you think that people would be able to now step over the hurdle and really do something, or not really?
Sorry. No, because I must say my English is not fantastic, and sometimes I can to repeat the question a little more.
So do you think that now, because of the global pandemic, people are willing to address a global problem in a different way? So like the climate, which is obviously a problem we had already for a very long time, but was not maybe taken so seriously and was maybe addressed locally in different ways, to now be able to step over that local situation and really address it in a global sense? Do you think that is now easier because of the pandemic, or do you think there's no change?
Must change. It's so important. The way that the world is going is not good. It's going to destroy, and also is the behavior of each one, no?
Mm-hmm.
But also is the politicians, the people that control the market, that must be more with more solidarity with the world.
More responsibility.
More responsibility. It's clear that the neoliberalism, this society, one fighting and face the other, no, all in competition, with no one solidarity. It's only the idea of win. I win or I lose. It's correct to say, yeah. This is not a way. Cooperation, solidarity, because also the enemy now is out of the system. The coronavirus, the virus, is out of our system. It's not China behind, in front of us. It's all, we have the same enemy. The same in the climate. When the change of climate start to change the level of the sea, it's everybody. It's all the planet.
It will affect all of us. Yeah, for sure.
And we must work in the solidarity and comprehension. And it's more than now. The last 10 years has been a disaster. It's, because now I like the attitude in the MPavilion. Is amazing. I have seen how it works, how the people gather there, and the spontaneity of the actions. No, but that means that we need to be confident with the other. No.
Yeah. Comfortable. Yeah.
And maybe now we are a little afraid. We must go over that. It's so important to believe in relations, no? To believe in public space, but with on measure, because the last years all the culture was to create mass. The market are interested
more and more. Yeah.
More and more and more. No, everything have a limit. Everything is just here. It's okay. If you pass this, it start to be bad. Everything have a measure. And we must find this measure. Not to say now, no public space, always a distance. No, absolutely no.
No, I agree. That can definitely not be the case. Cannot be that the public space now becomes eliminated or becomes so large to keep distance that it doesn't provide any confrontation or experience or intimacy anymore to have the dialogue. Do you think that maybe the effect on the public space could be that we can discuss again how public space is measured and how important its role is in urbanity? Or do you, because in the last 10 years, it was always about the massing, it was always about the buildings, it was always about what happened internally and how much money that could make. And it was way less about this public space, which sometimes was even discussed as residual space and unprogrammed. Do you think we can now have the discussion about programming public space and not only have parks and sea?
Yeah, in a way, because the market, they wanted public space, but for example, before a railway station was a very novel space that was more to say bye and hello the people that arrive from the travel. Now it's like a commercial center. They want like the airports. It's never the ceremony to say hello, goodbye. No. It's the mass. The people one near the other in front of the marchandise to buy. It's the market that lead our life. I think we must offer public space more to stay with oneself, to stay with, to promenade. Barcelona, for example, it was just now we couldn't move only in hours. All the markets, all the shops once closed, and the people after 8, they go to travel. To promenade. It was so beautiful to see all the diagonal with no cars, people walking very with relaxed, and to discover another kind of relation, not only consummation, not only to be productive, to be to the part of our system. I think we must think public space more in the sense of relax, on meet, things happen, but no only to consume. For that reason, I think the pavilion, the MPavilion, that make this meeting casual and not massive, but is an example. I like it a lot. How it works, the MPavilion. I have seen your pavilion, and now we can focus in. I must say that our pavilion.
I've seen yours as well. I've been as well.
Sorry?
I have seen yours as well.
Okay, but start with a dialogue with your pavilion, because I got the chance to see how your pavilion work, how the impact with the. And I like it, but I decide, okay, I like this room, that you make a room that, to concentrate people and make the thing happen. But I say, okay, I take this idea, but I want to make something more open, because I am afraid always with the thing empties. I was afraid with a room work very well with people, but with not people to see the things empty, no? And I make a pavilion all the time in dialogue with your observation, no? For example, I take the idea of the nature, the vegetation cover, to make something more protected. The other pavilion want more a roof. You make more a room. And I say, I want to stay in between, no?
You wanted to create something that kind of was open, but not obligating people to go in, or
or pass through.
Or pass through, yeah, okay.
In a way, more to pass through. It was also the seats was part of the monticle. You can interpret that it's not seats, and it's like a furniture in the middle of the park. You can pass through. You can stay underneath to take for the shadow.
So it was more a part of your experience of the city rather than per se of the program.
Yeah, I must say that when I received the commission by telephone from Naomi, I spent time before to come to Melbourne thinking, and I was completely blind. I couldn't, because in abstract, I can I can manage to think any project. I need the confrontation of. I think that I work with dialogue all the time with the site, with the antennas, trying to be in contact with all the forces that are. I think that I never bring a project and I put my idea from there. I always is the confrontation on the site, the confrontation of the client, the program that lead me. And I say the project appear from the site. I am only the catalyzador, the people that make this possible. But the project is done by itself in a way.
Yeah, what I thought was very interesting between our two pavilions was that in a way we both tried to create a scenery rather than to create or oppose an opinion. Kind of, it was both were very neutral in a sense, but at the same time, very different in approach. Where we wanted to create a focus point, really a center point, and kind of the dialogue. Yours was more like a flood or part of an experience in the park. That you could find something, a discover place or something. I don't know, that was my perception, obviously, when I was there. Kind of, it felt more that I could really discover your pavilion as part of the park and the experience of the park and the experience of the city. And ours was more like, okay, we bring people together and then something needs to happen. That was an interesting contrast. While both pavilions didn't have any borders. I think both of our pavilions were the first ones that didn't have any borders to cross. You could just go in, and that was an interesting given, I think.
And I think you are very lucky that your pavilion now is in front of a library, I think, or university. This is a very good place for you, because it's an open room that offers intimacy, and a lot of things can happen. My pavilion will be more difficult to find the place to, because we're so
connected.
Yeah, with the thing that had roots at the site. Because I like to. It's my way to do architecture, to make the thing like to have roots.
Yeah, roots. Yeah.
And then when you remove
it's complex.
It's complex. No, all the tree can.
I also thought it was super complex to think about that when we were designing it, to think about its second life, kind of, because
I know.
gardens are so beautiful and it's such full of history, and it has such a connection to the city that it is so difficult to think about it in a different place. But what you said is correct. We were lucky because it was positioned in a university where dialogue, which was the key point for us, is always present. And I went back to sit there, simply sit in the place, and you see students using it, which is kind of really, really interesting. Yeah. Do you think that kind of the recent happenings with COVID and kind of how and climate change would, if things like that would have happened before you designed the pavilion, would the pavilion look different?
The pavilion look different.
Sì, il pavilion sería diferente si hubiera pasado todo lo del COVID.
No, okay.
So no, because I believe in public space. I believe in people. I say, all my Latin friends, I say, okay, after the Corona video, we still are Latins. That means we kiss all the time. No, the Corona video is going to change. It's going to change. It's going to pass.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we must believe in public space. We must believe in gather people and to stay together, to share things, to kiss it all, the friends, but in another measure, more no in this way so massive.
Yeah. So less big.
Yeah, this culture of mass, of numbers, because now we are in a culture of number. Only an exhibition have a lot of success, not if they transform the mentality of the people or they create new artists. No, this is not important. The important is how much people are going to see it. No, number.
Yeah, it's a spectacle.
This is the thing that we must change. This culture of number must change in culture of feelings and
cultural relevance again.
Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I fully agree. I would also kind of not have changed anything to the approach of the pavilion if this would have been past COVID. I think that the way to bring people together, not necessarily as a mass, but to have a meaningful dialogue, for me still still send. Kind of, it is also when the lockdown was going on here in the Netherlands, and you walk through a city like Amsterdam, which is normally completely full of tourists, only masses of people that consume and not necessarily take out the city. Kind of, when you go out into the city now and you can wander around again, you can discover things that about your own city that you avoided before because of the mass that was there. And now you can really wander around again and find things that I had never seen, although I lived here for not in consecutive period, but about 20 years. And it's just a complete rediscovery of public space, but also a rediscovery of why things are like they are from a cultural perspective. It's not about consuming and seeing as much of the world as possible, but it is trying to understand again, why are things like that? What was the past of it? And what can that bring for the future? Which to me is a relief as an architect or an urban planner, is that, again, you can talk about not quantity, but you can talk about quality in the sense of what people should experience, what travel they make through the space and what they learn from it or what they gather from it. Yeah. And I hope that can be a shared value with politicians, because that's obviously a value that is not 4 years long, and most politicians are there for 4 years or less. It's a value that goes over centuries and goes over human behavior rather than a human consumption. And that to me is an interesting prospect. Although I also think that maybe people want to go back to normal as quick as they can, and that.
But I think that people have discovered things. Huh? I think people that they are forced to stay with themselves, with the family, and not to consume, to walk without consumption, and I think people, because in a way, the last year that people are huyendo, how to say?
Run away from.
Run away from them. This is, they take the plane all the time to visit places that they don't know. They only consume with the view. Like to see a panorama, with no relation with the new culture that they are in front. Is only to run away of themselves. Maybe with this period they change. Also, we must, because the quantity of the people that travel is also the low cost. No, that low cost come supported from the mass.
Yeah, and that will disappear.
Must disappear. Must disappear, because the next problem is the change of climate.
Yeah, the quantity, the effect of it. Yeah,
the effect of the because I am sure, because the pandemic in all the story of the humanity, each 100 years happen and pass.
Yeah,
we have been discovered things about ourselves, and we must focus in the new problem that is very big, is the consequence of the change of climate. And we must stop the life and the way that we have now to control all that.
And do you think, as architect, how can we contribute best to that dialogue? How do you think that we as architects can best contribute to that dialogue?
I think that the last time the architects are only interested in to the next commission, no? We are not in relation with us. La Carta de Atenas, no? The letter of Atenas, or the think tank with that social discussions, and now it starts one architect in front of our society, one in front of another, competition all the time for the next commission, no? we must talk together, to must be in contact with the government, but not to get the new commission, to be responsible, to be sensitive of what, because the architect, we have enormous responsibility with the society, enormous. And just now we have been complices of the market to make the tower, the higher tower, saying
we
that
became a tool while we have our own responsibility.
We have an enormous responsibility. When the cultural spectacle finished in Europe, they moved to Asia to make the things more spectacular, more big, with no one responsibility, no one discussion of society. And I think we have to do that.
Okay. I fully agree. Yeah, I fully agree. I think also kind of from a cultural perspective, each of us understands our own culture best and therefore should contribute to that culture and dialogue. And then kind of when we are invested in that locality, then we can maybe think about it more in a global perspective, but not in the sense of globalization, but much more of how to connect these different cultures and the behaviors rather than trying to dictate our beliefs on another culture.
Absolutely.
And I think that is probably one of the key things to do.
Yeah.
To not globalization also make everything similar, which simply doesn't work.
Yeah, the globalization in the sense that everybody have something to say.
Yeah.
And change things to give because the English Empire arrived India and to bring and also Spain they bring our culture there. No, the mestizaje. How do you say mestizaje? The thing, the interaction to have influence, to permit to be influenced. From the other.
To learn.
Yeah, to learn.
Okay. Yeah, I fully agree. Are you excited by the fact that now there is not a new pavilion, but all of our pavilions play a role again? So in a sense that the program takes place in all of our pavilions again?
Yeah, good.
That's good, right? Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Yeah. No, I feel very proud to stay with this team. No, yeah. To stay in between Glen Murcutt and yours. For me, it's,
yeah.
At the beginning, I was a little, when they said me the last one was made by you. Say, wow. Now, what can I do? But when in the side, I relax a lot because it's the side, the program, the thing that I see that make the project. And
yeah, but also the client obviously is not looking for.
The client is the best.
Client is aiming for solutions. It's really thinking about what could be done to.
It's amazing woman. I think she has received a big prize in Australia.
Yeah.
No, it has been a beautiful experience in MPavilion.
Yeah, same for me. It was kind of like a very fluent dream. I knew Naomi already a bit before. I knew a few people of the team before, but to be able to do it and then kind of stay in contact afterwards has been really, really nice. And I hope that the book with all of us in it is also going to be quite spectacular and nice to see everybody's approach in it. I really look forward to that.